Hello, and here we are for the last video in my Norse mythology series. I know it was full of a lot of information and a lot of tales, but this is the last tale. So this is the tale of Ragnarok, which I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with. This is the last tale in the timeline of Norse mythology, and it's one that I'm sure, again, a lot of people are familiar with. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So Ragnarok, in short, is a series of apocalyptic events that mean the destruction of the cosmos and everything in it. The word Ragnarok means the fate of the gods in Old Norse, so that kind of says a lot about how serious it is to the gods. The poem Volupsa tells us that the same Sirius in Hel, who foretold Baldur's death to Odin at this time, also prophesies the events that would lead to, include, and come after Ragnarok. So here we go. Remember the Norns? They are the spinners of fate who would inscribe fates using runes into the trunk of the Yggdrasil tree, and then those fates would carry out into the nine worlds and would go into fruition. Well, the myth says that one day the Norns will see that a great winter will come called Fimbulvetur. It will be colder and harsher than any winter before it. In fact, it is said to be 3 times longer than a normal winter. Laws and morality will fade from the conscience of mankind as food becomes scarce and life becomes about survival, much in the way that we see in many modern-day apocalypse films. The series then describes the fate of the gods and the fate of the worlds. It begins when Skoll and Hati, 2 wolves who have forever been in pursuit of the sun and moon, one day catch the sun and the moon. So the sun, the moon, and the stars disappear. After this, the Yggdrasil begins to tremble, causing the cosmos to start to unravel. Fenrir breaks loose from the desolate island on which he was chained. Jormungand rises up from the sea encircling Midgard, and the seas spill over onto the land. When Jormungand makes landfall, it will shake loose the ship called Naglfar. This is the ship that will carry the giants to their fated battle with the gods. The captain of this ship will be no other than Loki. Fenrir will run across the earth, devouring everything in his path, while Jormungand will spit his venom everywhere, land, sea, and air. Nothing is safe. When the sky splits, the fire giants will come forth from Muspelheim, with Surt in front, holding his sword brighter than the sun in hand. The fire giants will then storm Asgard using the Bifrost Bridge, and the bridge will crumble behind them. Heimdall will blow a Yalor horn to announce the coming of the giants, and thus the beginning of the end as it was fated. After consulting the head of Mimir for the last time, the gods decide to face their fate and go on with the battle. They prepare to meet on the battlefield called Vigret, meaning plain where battle surges. The battle includes many from the fire giants, Hel's dog, Fenrir, Jormungand, and the leader of the giants. Odin, as it was fated, will fight along with his chosen soldiers from Valhalla against the fearsome wolf who he conspired to chain all that time ago, Fenrir. Fenrir will defeat Odin along with all of his men. Fenrir will then be killed by Odin's son Vidar in an act of revenge. He had a shoe specifically made from the scraps of all the leather human shoemakers had discarded to prepare for the act. With the shoe firmly planted in Fenrir's mouth, he will then stab Fenrir in the throat, ending him once and for all. Garm, another wolf, and Tyr also kill each other during the battle. Heimdall and Loki will also slay each other during the battle. So while the one who started Ragnarok is killed, it also happens to take one of the wisest gods in return, which is definitely a loss. Freyr and the leader of the fire giants, Surt, will also kill each other. Thor will finally get to kill his nemesis Jormungand, but it will come at a steep price as he will fall 9 paces later and die from the serpent's venom. The world will then sink and everything in the cosmos will disappear along with it. It is sometimes said that this isn't the end, however. It is also said that a new world will rise from the water. It will be greater and more bountiful than before. A few of the gods, Vali, Modi, and Magni, survive, and Balder and Hoder return to the land of the living in this new world. Stanza 60 of the poem Volupsa reads, "Fields will bear harvest without labor. All sickness will disappear. Balder will come back. Hoder and Balder will live in Odin's hall as well as other gods. Have you learned enough yet, Allfather?" Have you learned enough yet, Allfather is a question repeatedly asked to Odin throughout the poem. This time around, instead of Ask and Embla to populate the world, we have Lif, meaning life, and Lithrazir, meaning striving after life. They will be the new humans to repopulate the earth and start life anew. So there you have it, something to look forward to. And for a far more enjoyable depiction, may I recommend the movie Thor, Ragnarok, featuring Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston as Thor and Loki respectively. The movie obviously definitely differs from the tale in Norse mythology, with I think the biggest difference being that the charge against the gods is led by Hela, or I guess they're equivalent to Hel, and Hela is the sister of Thor and Loki versus being the daughter of Loki. But I guess I wouldn't really want to see Cate Blanchett as a giant, so, to each their own. So that's it for the tales. The final video I have in this Norse mythology series is just going to kind of recap everything and talk about some of the ways that the Vikings could tie everything that we've learned so far into their belief system. So I will see you then.